Alright guys, welcome back to Ultimate Scale RC. Alright, so what I have here is the next generation of the Super Scale kit. This is the interior portion of the kit. And this will be sold as standalone. Um, I get a lot of requests that want just this part, but without the rest of the kit, it's pretty much impossible to do this without, because you have to there's no way around sectioning the front clip. Guys have tried to do it, but once you hinge these doors and you have this glued in here, there's no way to access the hinges. So this kit here is going to be $80 shipped with free shipping in the US. I don't know what I'm going to do for international. We'll figure that out later. But we're just getting restarted here with this company. Um, I'm phasing my old company out, and I am now full time into this company. So my other company has become basically a part-time business. The market just isn't there to sustain it. So, anyways, we're gonna prototype this today. This is probably the fifth door print, and I think the third or fourth interior print. So we're gonna get this fitted in this, and then if the doors line up and everything. Then I'm gonna section off the clip, and then that'll be the next part of the prototyping phase. But these will go on mark. This part right here will be on market almost immediately. So yeah, probably should show you that again, huh? So it's gonna ship on a card. So there's your preformed fender trim pieces. And then this is for the rest of the body. And then there's two long ones on the back side of the card. That's the only way you can get them to fit in the unbolt. And then we'll ship in here, UPS, or not UPS, but USPS, because that'll include your shipping. So yeah, and they charge. Yeah, I sold I had those at like $8.99 or something like that, and then I put them in these sticker cardboard envelopes, and they would not ship it unless I did first class, and they charged me $8 to ship it. I sold like three of them. So total loss. Yeah, and then Stripe, my merchant services, they charge you like 3%, so yeah, complete loss. All right, so this is a paint marker. I probably just killed my tip, but oh well. All right, so you can kind of be sloppy here. I can't believe this thing better not be out already. I just bought these. All right, so I don't know if you can see on there how sloppy I did that. Did that on purpose. All right, so now you're just gonna take a flat razor blade like that, and then just fold it down to one arm. Right, and that just cleans that right off. And then you'll have your strip in the center. Sorry the camera isn't focused. If you buy some of these, maybe I'll buy a new camera. But got plenty of these in stock, and I mean I can print these fairly quick. So that's a great way to support me in the channel, and the work that I'm doing here. I am now full time into this. Well, this and also the third dimension. So yeah, we're gonna be doing or I will be doing a lot of other things. carbon fiber infusion. I have a 66 Chevy 2SS 1-to-1. I'm going to do both in a 1/6 scale and the real 1-to-1 version in carbon fiber. I'm going to use the whole car as a plug. Um, there will be some panels I'm going to have to buy, but for the most part, the firewall and the unibody portion of that car are still salvageable, so I can recreate that car in carbon fiber and title it. And I can also reproduce that car too. So yeah, you can produce like up to 325 cars a year or something like that. I'll be far from that, but and then of course I'll be doing a 3D printing services, laser etching. I have a small Fox Alien CNC desktop machine that's got the 40-watt laser so I can cut the wood. So that's something else that'll be coming as a drop box for the uh, the RC4 drive Scottsdale. We'll do a wood box, and then because we can print these here, we'll be able to glue the strips in or whatever, screw them in or however we're gonna do it. But yeah, we'll make the box legit, and then yeah, now that I got the printers, I'm gonna make molds to mold better glass with a reverse light and then the bezel and all that too. So that'll be coming later, along with a ton of other, really chip scale stuff for this truck. We're gonna make this thing pretty much as real as possible. And then of course I still have my my weld fabrication shop is still intact, so of course I'll um you take advantage of having that. But yeah, I want to kind of shift away from that and into this. So that'll be kind of like I don't mind doing custom stuff, but doing production, it's growing old. So it's time for a change. This is actually my other company, Thrive Off Grid, and I make these gas fires. So um, we're gonna go back to the cam. All right, so let's get the body back up here. See if this is a new one. I got them all mixed up. No, that's old. What did I do with it? Oh, this is the old print. All right, so all right, so this is gonna be the cab set, and it's basically just gonna come with the doors and this. And it'll be $80 shipped in the U.S. Alaska, Hawaii, you're gonna have to get a quote along with international. We'll have to figure something out for international shipping. But this won't come with the hinges. The hinges I get on Amazon. I'll give you a link. I actually can't. They're made by Injora for a cargo trailer or something like that. But these are pretty pretty scale hinges. They're pretty close to the real thing. They're close enough anyway. So you'll have to buy them separate. And then making this work and how you want to do it, that's up to you. But this is a design system, so there's more to this to make this all work. You section the front clip off. There's going to be a firewall that goes in here that screws the front clip to the front of the firewall here, and then an actual radiator support with a top balance piece that the RC4 drive grill insert fits into. An actual radiator with fan shroud. Make it. I mean, it's gonna look like the real deal. I don't know if you've seen the other earlier versions of this truck, but what I'm doing here is nothing new. I've been at this for a couple years now. So this is so you can see the grill's cut through, and then you got the radiator support behind it. Then your radiator sits in there. Um, Now they got better printers. They'll be able to print a lot better radiators. There's a fan shroud for it. And then there's a top piece that covers this that looks authentic. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this truck. I might sell it. Might put it on, make a bargain corner on the website or something for used stuff. And then other people can maybe sell on there too. Um, and that's kind of what the third dimension is about too. It's not just it's going to be like a hub for other creators as well, or at least that's the idea right now. All right, so when you get the kit, I'm probably gonna ship it right in the support structure, and the reason is you're gonna use that support structure as your glue. What you do is you cut that up in little pieces and soak it in acetone and make a slurry. Modeling guys know this trick. Um, and then that makes the best glue that you're gonna get for this. I mean, it's a direct bond. It'll make this is ASA and this is ABS, right? And they are totally compatible that way. So when you use that slurry to bond that to this, it'll make them one, just like it was molded, right? So let's get this thing out of the supports. Get this top out of there. All right. So it is kind of rough, but that's what that's gonna help is we'll use that to smoothing this out, and it's on the bottom anyway. So that's why I print it the way the orientation. Otherwise, you have that kind of stuff here. If I were to print it that way or this way, actually, it might not be might might work if I print it this way, but then I gotta have no, I still gotta have the supports for that. So that's the thing about 3D printing. You gotta think about all that stuff. So this right here is very valuable. This is gonna be your glue. So we'll set this aside. Should probably just throw some of these chunks in that in my Folgers can. And yeah, if you drink Folgers, you got a great little thing for storing that. This is the door. So these are really authentic. There's even a window channel. It's even it's even notched just like a real one for the vent window. And there's gonna be a TPU frame, window frame made that you'll sandwich. There'll be two pieces, and then you're gonna put a piece of lexan in between the two, and then that's gonna make your window frame. And then it's gonna be designed so that you can actually create the front channel for your window to slip up and down. So it's gonna have functioning windows. I mean, it won't be a regulator or nothing in there, but um, so you got that, and then there's a boss here, just like the real deal. It's not quite shaped like the real truck. I mean, the real truck's kind of like a V, but just to keep things simple, kiss, right? And then real like using files, especially if you want to get a flat surface. So these are gonna come as a raw print. I'm not gonna like do any of this. This is part of the deal. So you're gonna have to fix imperfections. It's just the nature of 3D printing, especially something this complex. But you're gonna have to do body work on it anyway. But these are way, way better than the earlier versions. When they were so rough on the under 3. I got SVO's 8 printer. That's so I can do not just the RC stuff, but bigger stuff. I'll be doing a guitar later on, so that's like an early version. So that's going to be coming for the third dimension. You know, so yeah, I'm not just gonna be doing RC stuff. I'm gonna be doing all kinds of stuff. Oh yeah, then I got the '68 K10 that I sold to start this company to buy all the equipment. But I'm gonna be scanning that truck, so the guy that bought it knows all about that. Hey, shut up! Yeah, they gotta bark at every little thing at the slightest noise. We're not even scary. Shut up! All right, so anyways, yeah, I'm gonna be doing lots of different stuff. Well, the K20, that's gonna the K20 and the Chevy 2 are both gonna be developed into 1/6 scale. And I'm gonna do that because for one, there's actual functioning V8s on the market that could potentially be used, or I may develop my own version. And maybe reach out to those companies to have them produce the internal, um, not so easy to produce parts like the pistons and rods and crankshafts and all that stuff. But with 3D printing, we can um, print positives to create your cast. What am I trying to think of? You're going to create you're going to create a positive to melt out of your negative. Um, but yeah, you're gonna use like a mortar or ceramic type of cast, and then you melt this stuff. And this is a called polycast by Polymaker, and this is made specifically for Lost Wax investment casting. So we'll be playing around with that, and then because we have 3D printing, we can think a little bit outside the box. I don't think that having a CNC machining center is actually necessary. We might be able to make fixtures with 3D prints, and once you got your aluminum block cast, then you'll be able to put that into like a 3D printed fixture system that you could do all your machining right with a typical drill press, as long as it's a decent drill press. Um, right, so um, we'll work on that probably that'll probably be next spring, next year, early next year sometime. I will start work on that. All right, so we got this out of there. Got all these the ports taken out. All right, so this is gonna be like the moment of truth. All right, so what I'm gonna do is just do like a test fit, make sure my door align in here properly. I think I got it this time. I can almost tell right now that I got it. I'm gonna skip the front camera a little better. So my body line was off on the first print, so that was the last revision that I had to do is re recut that body line. Um, so yeah, so what I'm gonna do now is test fit it, put it all together, get this fit, and then if everything's a go, then calling this good, and then this will be the version that goes on market. And then I'm gonna section out the front clip, and then do the cab up, and then prototype the the firewall. So this front surface is not going to be how it is. There's actually going to be another piece that will look like the real firewall. It'll have the cutouts for the heater box and brake booster and all that. And then this is how you'll fit. you'll fasten the front clip to the cab. Before you had to reach inside with the doors on, and if you had big arms, big hands, that was like nearly impossible, unless you had the windshield out. But you, you had to unscrew these two to get to the dash. So if you're gonna have to do that, then why not just have the two, have a fastening system here, and then just be done with it. You take 4 screws out, and then the whole thing comes off, and could potentially take advantage of these guys here. Um, I actually made it like the real truck, with that hole. The actual hole is back closer to the rocker. Um, so anyways, yeah, let's get to it. So I'm gonna set the cab aside. Oh, one quick thing before we move on. But so if you look at my roof line, you see how it's flat, and then this truck here is bone stock. I haven't done anything to it. You see how it's bubbles? That's not how a real truck is. Alright, so there's two reasons that you're gonna want to flatten that. And one is to make it right, and then two is actually you want to take these A-pillars, you need to spread them out because in the on the truck, this is kind of these 2 points are contoured in, and that's a bitch to do in CAD. Um, so I can, draw in straight lines and I can do contours, but, when you got different, I got contours that way and this way and, diagonally, that can get really complex, and the CAD system can struggle as well, trying to create that. So you're gonna want to flatten that, and then that'll make the alignment right. I don't know how well. I guess I'll be doing that build on camera too. Um, so yeah, that spreads that out, and then the door will align align better inside of here. So I'm trying to get it flat as I can, right? Otherwise it would actually look something like that. And that's really easy to do. If you're doing this kind of stuff, then you're probably gonna have a heat gun, right? Alright, so all I did, I just cut some thin, I don't know, half-inch thick OSB, and I cut this piece 5.5 inches long, and that fits right there, and right where this windshield curves up to the roof. What you do is you'll center that, and then take some tape, just you know, masking tape, wrap that around, and then have some quick clamps on standby, and then a press top, right? So this will be glued up or taped on there like that, and then apply the heat. Don't overdo it. Just get it hot enough to where this is pliable, and then set the gun down, turn the gun off, and set it down where you're not going to catch your house on fire. And then put this on there and press it by hand, and kind of hold it because this cools down really really fast. And you're going to want to do it in the center and evenly, right? And then once you got that, then take your quick clamps, clamp them on, let it cool, and then it should form. It'd be better to do it multiple attempts, rather than one shot. If you try to do it one shot, you probably get some imperfections. If you look, there's a dent right here, but that stuff can be fixed. You can fill that in. Um, that's better than leaving it stock. I'd rather have it done than to leave it like that. So that looks like a toy. All right, so yeah, yeah, I got this is probably I think the fourth pan I've printed. Um, so yeah, these are fails. And then, oh yeah, something else I should go over too. Yeah, so these are, um, see how much quicker that is up by the A pillar. And then, getting all these alignments, I mean, 20 thousandths, 25 thou, and 1/10 scale is massive. That's like a quarter inch in real life, right? So just a tiny little bit off it sticks out like a sore thumb. But so I'm gonna garbage. But okay, so now when you're cutting doors out, you don't have to be as precise as you did in the original kit. So this is like the original skin off the body, and that's cut like perfectly in that the line that goes around the door, from the border. Now you can just start cutting that away, but now you want to stay about a quarter to an eighth of an inch away from that line, the perimeter, and then you get yourself a pair of these guys, and so I can show you right here. All right, so you can just take little bites, right, and then get a pair of these guys, and then clean that edge up with a file, and you're done. So it's gonna be a lot easier to do this kit. Pretty much anybody can do it now. These corners here, you're gonna want to try to cut as close as you can, but once you get that close enough, you can take a pair of pliers and just kind of break that out, and then clean that up with a file. You're gonna cut all these bosses out, and then you want this cut right here as flat, um, as perpendicular or parallel to the roof as possible. All right, so I'm probably gonna have to do a little more, because that's something else I gotta prototype too, is the B pillar, the inside of the roof, and then the B pillars. So there's gonna be more to this cab, and of course the door cards and other stuff that complete the interior. All right, so this is the old one. I don't quite have everything out of this one yet. And inside of here is where your magnets are gonna go. So there's more supports. Uh, it's apparently way better than the predecessor. Maybe a smaller screwdriver might be a better option here. Just don't want to price so hard that you break an actual body. They're kind of a bit slow. It's really hard to get in there with anything. But yeah, you want to. There we go. Come on, get out of there. Man, I'm gonna have to pause and edit this out. Can't show you guys this. So those things do break out of there pretty cleanly. Other than this is really the only issue. But that is nature of 3D printing. If I make the support top surface closer, then I mean you saw how hard this was getting it out of that thing. Um, if I go further, that makes that harder to remove, and some portions of it may become permanent to this. So I'd rather have to smooth this than go too far. Um, probably will play around with adjusting that further. Because it does vary between filaments and different brands and stuff like that. But these printers are pretty well dialed in with the profiles that are set up in Orca. So I'm gonna set this side here. Alright, so next step is gonna be to install our hinges. Now I got a set of these on order. Those are crazy strong. I'm gonna set this somewhere. There's no metal around them. Alright, so I need some screws. So I'm gonna use M2. Oh wait, yeah, M2 by 6 screws for my hinges, and then for this A pillar, um, you may want to go even shorter than 6 millimeter. All right, so I think I'm gonna do the doors first. I may need to drill the holes out, but these are pretty good. I haven't had to yet. Yeah, this just wasn't viable with the printers that I had. I had a SB06 and then a Ender 3 S1 Pro Plus, and it was too slow and the quality just wasn't there. And then I was printing with carbon fiber PET G, and that stuff was a bear to get to stick to the bill plate. Of course, this ASA is too, but the nice thing about the ASA is we can make that slurry, and that works for gluing it down to the bill plate, and then it cleans right off with acetone. Oh, I'm using the wrong side of the hinge. I use the thicker side on the doors because that's how it is on the real one. Details. Kind of sucks. Yeah, I have to use these older ones. Yeah, I got. I don't know if I mentioned this or not. Um, I got a set of these hinges on order, but they're not gonna be here till December 5th. So I wasn't gonna wait till December to do the video. So I robbed these off that other the first prototype. And you may wanna get these aligned. So this is gonna give you some adjustment too, if you need to. This is gonna be just like doing a real truck. You may have to put shims behind them. Um, like a Colt 12 pack case might come in handy for that. These work pretty good. These M2s. These are actually for I'm sure they're probably for anything, but I bought them for when I was looking for guitar hardware. That's what came up. This is always the fun part. I should have put my magnets in make sure you're straight. Don't overdo it. You don't want to strip the screw head out or the threads on the body. one down. I'm gonna try that. I haven't tried this yet. Put the magnets in. Alright, so right there is a pocket. And there should be enough for two of them to put in there. But that may be a challenge. May need to get like a piece of cardboard. Oh, I'll try a screwdriver, actually. Yeah, there's definitely enough room in there. Just a matter of, I'll figure that out later. I'm just gonna use one for now. Oh, put this one in, Alright, so it's gotta go like so. This is just temporary. Put water tape in there, thing in there. And it's kind of adjustable. Actually, I think one's enough. So the placement of the magnet is gonna help you with your alignment of the door too. I use a lot more magnets on the old one, but that seems to be, I mean, plenty good. All right, do the other door. But yeah, you could definitely get another magnet in there. You probably stack like three or four. Those are 1/8 inch thick by 3/8 magnets. these screw sets like that are pretty cheap, like 8-10 bucks on Amazon. So now keep the clear side on. Getting these screws in here with you need like 5 hands to do this. The screws do kind of poke through on the other side. But there is like the side vent that goes up on the kicker panel. Those will, those will be designed so those will cover up at least the top portions, maybe even the bottom. Otherwise, just use shorter screws. Uh, Running a little crooked on that one. It should correct itself though. Kind of like self tappers. So I'm gonna get a flat blade so I can grab that Phillips better. Yeah, good to go. All right. I'll learn to put stuff away. Otherwise, I just accumulate and accumulate and accumulate, and there's pretty soon I got a mess of tools. Then I can't find nothing. Stick them all to the side. Working at a small area. I have my old RV is a 31-foot RV, and I'm gonna convert that into what will be the third dimension. That's where all the printers and everything are gonna live. I'm basically gonna gut it out and then do support beams along the roof. And basically make convert it into like a big utility trailer, and then I'll have a workspace in there, and then of course the printers and everything else. So I was thinking that'd be a good infrastructure, and then because it's kind of like the artsy type of thing, I could take it to shows, do all that. All right, the moment of truth. So you're gonna want the doors open. You're gonna want to kind of bring it in from the front. Alright, now get my quick clamps. That lip that you saw in the back here, that's where you're gonna glue this back half on. That's looking pretty good. We have to do some, oh, yeah, the magnets. And you see how that kind of saddles in there? Even though you're not gonna see this. Oh, yeah, you're gonna want to trim this out here though, because the firewall that goes in here, there's actually it's kind of a hollow in here. And you're probably gonna want that anyway because if you do like the RC4WD V8, because the cab is shifted forward, I think a little bit. Um, if you want to do the distributor, it's probably gonna interfere with that. So you might want to consider that. Um, these here are M3 by 10 millimeter, and oh yeah. So if you look inside of here, see that boss right there. There's two holes. One is for mounting this, and then the top hole is for the dash. So you're gonna wanna take a drill bit and mark this firewall, and then drill that out, um, so that you can put your dash in. So that's gonna be one caveat. Is you'll have to remove the front clip in order to access the dash screws. Let's see if I can fill the right hole. Can't quite see in there. I gotta get a flashlight. Yep. So I'm in the bottom hole. I'll do the other one. Yeah, that's plenty workable. Actually, that right there is from me gouging. This was where did I do with that skin? The skin that I was showing you was this. So I actually screwed that up, cutting this out. And then this side is the side that I did this new way. And it looks like it's not a big deal. Oh, you know what? It kind of worked right here. Alright. And then, when you glue this together, you might be able to pull this in. That's probably what I'll do is when I glue that and when it sets, I'll probably tape this to pull it. And then when you take the tape off, it'll kind of relax and settle. But I'm pretty happy with that. And then, of course, we can always file some off the door. I'm actually considering just cutting this rain gutter thing off completely, and then I might print something that fits in there. Because we got that chrome silk, that stuff looks pretty good. This side actually fits pretty good. So I'm gonna go off this side because I do see some working here. I don't know what happened here. Yeah, this is pretty rough too, but it is what it is. Yep. Yeah, it's that work. Man, that pisses me off. Oh well. I'm gonna call it good. I'm gonna run this one. Um, I can fix that little bit right there. I think. Yeah, no big deal. I'll make it work. Yeah, if I don't see how it's overlap, and then if we push it up, then it pushes the top up of the door. That's why I'm getting that interference. Otherwise it would fit perfect, just like the other side. Hinges are a little sloppy. Heck, the door even opens, and that's without modifying the front clip. And then you will be able to adjust the front clip, but if you notice, it is a little bit recessed, and that's on purpose. You can shim the door too, like I was saying. So yeah, just like a real one. Yeah, if you wanted to, you can make it pretty much flush, but you actually kind of want it to be a little bit out. I'm gonna try to get it as close as I can, but it'll be just a hair over, and then I'll sweep the inside of this fender so that the door clears. And then you can get the door open farther. Yeah, the hinges should be further forward to that seam than the original, so the door should swing open farther without. And then also our trim sets shouldn't interfere. We shouldn't have to notch that. That's the other thing that you want to consider if you're going to do the trim and you have opening doors. All right. Well, I think I'm going to conclude this video, and then I'm going to cut the front clip off. Well, maybe we should do that. Show you how to do that if you want to do that mod. You know why that worked is because I coated the build plate with that slurry, and this last print I decided not to do it because I already had quite a bit on there, and it was starting to get really difficult to get off the build plate. Um, so I didn't do it on that last one, but yeah, that was probably a mistake. So yeah, from now on, I'm gonna clean the build plates completely and then recoat them every print. We ain't even playing around with that. I might even be able to heat that up and bring that down. Actually, I'd probably be able to fix that with a. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be able. Hold on, maybe we'll do it right now. Find my X-Acto knife. I can actually see where I can cut it. Yeah, not gonna be able to do it on camera, I don't think. Probably not without cutting myself. But yeah, I was able to get it that far just by scraping it. And this ASA is really workable stuff. The sand's real nice. Also, it's like the other side. Yeah, I think I got it. So yeah, other than the body work, and not all prints are gonna be exactly perfect. They won't be warped. I won't. I'd throw that away. I wouldn't sell this. Um, but because I am doing the work, I am gonna probably put this cab on market. Once I get through prototyping this. Um, yeah, because I kind of need funding to get this going. At the end of the week, I gotta eat, feed the dogs, pay the bills. All right, so let's get that cab. You know what? I'm trying to jump the gun. I'm gonna set this back on here. To get our cut line, right where the weather stripping molds for the windshield, you're gonna cut a line from there all the way to where the bottom of this where the front of the rain gutter that's not supposed to be there is. So it's gonna be like right there. Maybe I'll get a paint marker and draw it so it shows up better. No, so about right there. Right. So that's where you're gonna cut. You don't want to cut into that um where that weather stripping is. If you do, then you went up a little bit too far. Not a big deal. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna kind of cut down on a 45, about a 16th inch in, and then from the bottom side, then you're gonna try to cut as straight up as possible, and then you'll have to break it off. So, and I should be able to do this on camera fairly easily. Actually, I didn't even need the door on here. Yeah, so let's put the cabin side. So now, what tool am I gonna use? So I got this guy here. Oop. I need to put you guys on my right side, so I'm ambidextrous, but I don't do everything. I do most stuff right-handed. And basically, I'm gonna cut down until the width of the blade disappears on this. It's roughly an eighth of an inch. Pretty close there. How you angle it, you'll kind of naturally do it because it's kind of cutting a curve. All right, so you're actually not going to cut a straight line though, because you just can't. But what you're going to do, well, is basically what we're going to cut is from this point here, right, to the corner of the fender. But you don't want to cut outside the the edge of the body here. So we're gonna try to bring it from here to here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do that. Be mindful where you're. Um, Especially this trailing edge, you want to kind of cut that down to here, and then once you kind of met here, that's where you stop. Don't keep going after that. And then I'm kind of cutting at an angle, right? You get that? Once I got that, then I'm gonna work on the front side. Oh, this is one of my other. These are kind of cool. The problem is, I think these are thicker. Thicker blade. And teeth on this are really aggressive. Oop. Actually, I actually cut the wrong way with that one. I'm going back to this one. Shoot. Yeah, never mind trying to do that front cut. Alright, so I'm pretty good. Now I should be able to kind of work this. Ooh. Alright, so I got that out. Alright, so yeah, don't do that front cut, and then, yeah, be mindful of where you're cutting with it. Angle your saw if you have to. Let me drive this side, then I'll fill that line with paint. Right, so that corner to that corner, and then be mindful. You gotta cut along that edge without breaking through the surface. See what I'm doing here at the top. Yeah, so really it's just two cuts, and you can almost make them in a shot. And then when we weld this onto the cab, this will be plenty strong. Actually, we're not actually taking any integrity away, really. We're not removing that much plastic. And we're gonna put it back with a cab. Actually, it'll probably be stronger with a cab. Alright, that side went a lot better than that side did. Alright, then what I'll do is I'll take a Dremel like so. Kind of hog that out smooth. You know what I'm saying? And then clean that up with a file, and then same thing with this edge here. Don't go too fast. And once you got it close, you can get a half moon file. Just clean that up. Then any little imperfections, you can, that stuff, this glue, that's going to be your body filler, your glue, everything. It's a great body filler too. It sands off, goes down really thin. You can do really thin areas with that. Thicker stuff, you might want to use like a normal putty. I like using a two-part. It's not like your normal filler putty. It's like a spot glazing putty, but it's two-part. So it works just like a normal filler does. You want to try to get this inside. I'm gonna put this back together in a minute, just so I can see what that looks like. This makes it look, this adds to the scale too, because when you're looking at it from that angle, you're seeing a thin piece of, sheet metal here, not a big, thick honking piece of plastic. So, I mean, don't be afraid to cut these off. It's not that hard. And if you screw up, you got that stuff, and then you got lots of plastic. I'll be sending you to patch things up if you have to. You can actually do a little patchwork. And then, yeah, on this, I probably won't do, well, I might do a little shaping off that. So now just set on there now. Yeah, having a magnet helps. All right. Well, yeah, let's see how the lines now. That might change things. Let's see here. That's gonna be a ton easier to work on now. Alright, what did I do with that screw? I have to get another one. That's still nice and tight. Door still closed. Some fits better now. Still got some more work to do there, but I'll get it. Alright, so now I'm just gonna have to kind of set it on here. Alright, so now I'm a lot tighter. And then your hood, if you bring it in, then your hood might have some interference, but again, you always file that off. And depending on your gap here, you don't want to scrape your paint either. So I may have to take a little bit off of here. But yeah, at this point, I'm gonna modify the fender, not the door. Because now I gotta go after getting the door swing I want. So I'm probably gonna have to shave off a little bit right there. But I'm not gonna do that until I can actually mount that on the body. All right, so that was really what I wanted to cover today. All right, so these will be on the website soon, possibly today. Um, now that I got it this far, I can start prototyping the firewall. All right, guys. Thanks for watching.